Hi and welcome back for another Tool Time Tuesday. I'm Melissa Muir. Today I'm going to show you how to make this sweet little cuff using the Pepetools Superior Ring Bending Tool. It's a fun little project, it takes just not too long and I'll show you how I did it. I've had a number of people ask me about the Superior Ring Bender and its capabilities of doing other types of flatware jewelry. So I've already showed you how to make a spoon ring based off of just cutting off the spoon bowl and then making a ring out of the handle. But people also really like to use those flatware stems for making bracelets. Now this, as far as what you know now, is for making rings, but that's not all that it can do. It can very easily also make some different types of bracelets and bends and curves, just depending on what your needs are. Here what I've done is I've actually just taken again a piece of scrap copper and I've textured it up with one of my hammers. And actually the reason that I even did that was because it was just a little bit too short. So by texturing it up with one of my sharp texturing hammers, I was able to stretch that size out to about 6 inches, which is where I actually like to work with on my cuffs. So here I have a cuff that I formed in a hydraulic press. So you wouldn't be able to get something this thick, because this is about like 1.5 inches or so thick. You wouldn't be able to get anything quite that thick into the Superior Ring Bender. But what I like is the shape of this cuff. Okay, I really like more of this oval shape, and I'm going to use this bracelet as my guide for when I start to form this, so that I can get this same oval curvature in the cuff, so that way I know it'll be comfortable. People don't have perfectly round wrists, just like they don't have perfectly round fingers. So it's really nice to have something that's more oval and fits to your wrist a little bit better. It's much more comfortable. So that's what I'm going to use as my guide, and you'll see I'll continue to fit this and then make adjustments as I go with the Superior Ring Bender. In this case, I'm going to be using nylon dies, but you can use the steel ones. Either way will work. I have not annealed this, so it may actually work better for me to replace the mandrel part with the nylon. I'm only going to work with the larger piece rather than any of the smaller parts. I'm not going to be forming exactly to this mandrel, because if I do, then what's going to happen is I'm going to have a small ring and I want an oval cuff. So I'm just going to use this to kind of give me the curves and the bends. There will be a lot of fidgeting and adjusting with my hands to get the curves exactly how I want them. And it just is something to practice with. But you can see how easily a tool like this can help you, particularly if you've got something like arthritis or you cannot hammer against a mandrel. Maybe you have highly decorated, delicate details that cannot be hammered out. So there's a number of reasons why this tool is good and can help you. So I'll just show you really quickly how I go through to create a cuff on this particular tool. I'm going to start by first getting a nice gentle curve into my piece of metal. Now keep in mind I have not annealed this. And you can see that I'm not completely pushing this closed, because again, I don't want to form it to this mandrel. I just want to use it to help me get these curves. And what you're going to see is I'm going to continually come in here and compare this to my cuff and laying it out on top of my cuff so I can get the arch just right. And that's going to make certain that I get everything formed the way I need to. I can already see that I've got this particular curve right here just a little bit too tight. So maybe what I'll do is take my hands and bring that back out a little bit. Again, fit it in there just to make certain that we're going where we need to go. Okay, at this point I actually have things lined up pretty well on the one side. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start working this other side and see if I can get this to come around and meet, because the top part, while I don't want it flat, I also don't want too much curve in here. So I'll just turn this over and begin to work on the other side. Alright, things are starting to look pretty good. You can see that we've got a general shape here. It's not completely perfect yet, but as I begin to add the curve into this piece up here, it's going to bring things together a little bit better, and we will be able to figure out what needs to happen to make sure that everything curves right. And again, there may just be some fidgeting with my hands, but for now I'm going to let the tool do quite a bit of the work. And there, I think we're pretty much there. So you can see again, we've got that nice oval shape. Everything should be fairly even. There might be a little bit of some more play work in here that I need to do with this. For the most part, this should fit fairly comfortable. Form around the wrist. Not too much of an open gap anywhere. And there you have it. So again, the tool does not do all the work for you. There is a little bit of play work that you're going to have to do to make it work, but you can see how easily I was able to create a cuff. And again, I use this one just as a guide, but you could even easily just draw an ellipse on your paper and just kind of go by that. Or another thing that you can do too is just continue to try it on and see where things need to move to make it feel better. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it answers some questions of how to make a bracelet using this tool.